first I'm going to take this liquid latex by Ben Nye, and I'm just going to use that to draw a rounded line all across the frontal half of my neck. And then I'm just going to make it about an inch thick, and we're just going to put down one layer. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to take some toilet or tissue paper and cut 1 inch lengthwise, and then you're going to split it in half if it's 2-ply. And then you're going to stick the 2 halves across the liquid latex on your neck. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the liquid latex again, and you're just going to put that all over the top of the tissue paper, also going a centimeter above and below the actual toilet paper line. This is just so when we start cutting and pulling it apart, it's going to have something else to attach to, and it's going to be a lot stronger. Now you're just going to want to do 1 layer over the top, because the more layers you do, the thicker and tougher the latex gets. So when you cut it, it will be very difficult if you do multiple layers, but if you do 1, it should be fine. And then I'm just taking this cream foundation by Ben Nye in the natural fair color. So you're just going to get any kind of cream foundation that matches your skin tone. And then just using a foundation brush, I'm just going to pat and blend that in all over the top of the tissue paper and into the natural skin tone of my neck. Now don't worry about if the tissue paper has all these weird crumbled up lines through it. That's going to create more of the texture and make it look more hacked, as if it were actually cut itself. And once all that's blended in, I'm just taking this craft tool that's used for carving, and I'm just going to poke a little hole through the latex. Now be careful you don't use anything too sharp when you're doing this, because you don't actually want to cut your real skin. And then I'm just taking safety scissors, which are blunt on the end, so I'm not going to end up stabbing myself in the neck. And I'm just going to go across, cutting away from my skin and making sure that I only pull on the latex. Now you don't want to pull too hard on the latex, or the whole piece might just pull off your skin. You just want to do it carefully and hold it down as you go so you don't rip the whole thing off. And then once you've cut all the way across, you're just going to start with your fingers rolling the edges down and up on each side and just pulling them a little bit off your skin so it looks more like flaps. And then I'm just taking that cream foundation again, and on the white bits that have recently been exposed, I'm just going to cover them up. And then taking this black face paint, or you could even use a black eyeshadow, I'm just going to use that to fill in all the gaps. And then going over the top with the red, also using the red to blend down a bit onto the bottom half of the flaps and onto my neck. Now you could leave your makeup just like this. This is just going to be just a freshly torn look. So if you want it to look fresh without the stitching, like we're going to show in the next part, you can stop at this part. But if you want to make it look more older and stitched up, what you're going to do is you're going to take a needle and a black piece of thread, and then you're going to start stitching downwards in one direction. Now I say downwards because if you go upwards you might stab your chin, and again we don't want to hurt ourselves. So you're just going to go downwards in one direction. And if you notice the black color isn't as pigmented as I'm doing for the stitch look, so I'm going to go for a kind of old stitch look so it looks like it happened a while ago. So what I did with the tissue is I just dabbed out some of the coloring, but it's still in the background, so it still looks effective. It just doesn't look more fresh like the other look. And please be careful when you're stitching across your neck. Again, we don't want to actually stitch our real neck, just the latex. And you don't want to pull on the string too hard, because with the flaps it might actually tear through, and that would just ruin the look. So be careful when you're stitching your neck through. And then once you get to the end, you're going to take your scissors again and just cut the loose threads. You could even leave it like this, but I'm going to take some dark blood, also by Ben Nye. I'm using the aged and oxidized color, which is an older styled blood, so it's a lot darker, thicker, and when it dries it's got more of that crusty look, so it does look old, so it fits in with that stitched look I was going for. And what I'm doing is I'm just getting really big blobs of the blood and kind of clotting it around the stitches, so it looks more realistic and like it's been sitting there for a while. And then I'm also just doing a few little streaks down my neck, which are going to act as if the blood had dripped down and dried. And once you've done applying as much blood as you like, you're finished.